Oh my God. Hammond!
In all seriousness, Xbox is dying. The layoffs, studio closures, AI taking jobs, and the cancellation of games suggest that this might be the end times for Xbox. Let's start with game cancellation, shall we? They have cancelled so many games, it makes you think if they're an industry that actually makes games in the first place. Blackbird, an MMORPG created by ZeniMax, has been cancelled. Projects by the Coalition, the team behind Gears of War, cancelled. Blizzard's The Odyssey, cancelled. Everwild, a game that was in production for 10 years, has been cancelled. The cancellation of Everwild highlights Microsoft's inefficiency in game development, as the team at Rare spent a decade investing in and developing a game that will never come to fruition. All that money and time pretty much eliminated in the blink of an eye.
Result.
The Perfect Dark reboot was also cancelled, and the developers behind it shut down. Speaking of shutdowns, cancellations, and layoffs, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere! Sierra Delta, repeat. I'm looking at fighter jets over I-95! How the hell did they get through?
This has been going on for over a year. In January, they laid off 1,900 people, and in September, they laid off 650 more. But wait, it gets worse. Microsoft laid off over 9,000 staff members in July 2025, equating to 4% of its workforce. 4% does not sound like a lot, but that's the size of entire gaming studios and companies. That is the equivalent of all of Nintendo's workforce and 75% of PlayStation's workforce. In addition, laying off that many people is a bad sign to investors and talent. They may not want to be part of your company as it's unstable, effectively leading to more layoffs. Romero Games has been completely defunct. All 100 of its developers have been laid off. Rareware has been hit. ZeniMax has been hit. Undead Labs has been hit. But hey, at least the developers of one of their most consistent and reliable franchises should be fine, right?
Wrong!
Team 10, the developers behind Forza, has laid off 50% of its workforce. That's right, the team behind Forza, the exclusive that has been good to the Xbox throughout the Xbox One era, has also been hit with layoffs. The situation is so dire that a former employee claims that Forza Motorsport is no longer in existence. But what about Halo, the golden child, the mascot of the Xbox? Surely they won't let the franchise that put Xbox on the map fade away into the sun, right?
No!
No!
Halo Studio has been hit with layoffs. A studio-wide reconstruction is occurring with a greater focus on AI and subcontracted work. To squeeze every last dollar out of Halo, they are ensuring that Halo is not made by Halo Studios, which is incredibly short-sighted. Considering Microsoft established Halo Studios just a few years ago, it's just asinine logic. You spent and invested in this team to build and take care for your most iconic franchise, and now you're just gonna let subcontractors take the job? Are you for real, Microsoft? Additionally, I'm not a game developer, but I would be hesitant to leave the development of a game to subcontractors who aren't familiar with the initial vision, game engine, and code. Say what you want about 343 Industries, but they're familiar with Halo, their game design, and mechanics, as they've been doing this for over 10 years, unlike subcontractors who are told to understand code and game design in a few weeks or months. All this would lead to more delays, fewer games, and crappier games overall. Even Call of Duty isn't safe. Although COD varies in the quality of its games, it still sells millions of copies every year. It's the golden goose of gaming, the creme de la creme of sales, and even then, COD developers still get shafted. High Noon has been hit with layoffs. Sledgehammer Games has been hit with layoffs. Even though they don't make the best CODs, they still sell better than most games, so you would think Microsoft would want them to stay around, but nope! They've been hit like a ton of bricks. This goes to show that even if you're the most lucrative franchise in history, you can still be dropped. It goes to show that if your game doesn't sell, you get laid off. Your game is one of the most iconic and lucrative franchises in the entertainment industry, you still get laid off. Microsoft are trying to nickel and dime their developers and franchises. This scene from Futurama perfectly illustrates the point.
Lightweights. Oh, wait, chlorine.
Nibbler represents Microsoft's executives and the crew represents the developers. Sure, an executive and Xbox as a whole may achieve some short-term gains by reducing costs. Still, in the long term, game development suffers as people aren't there to create games, and it's unlikely that new developers and investors would turn to Microsoft. Instability leads to more instability. It's a positive feedback loop that unless Microsoft swallows its pride and the top executives take a pay cut, will spiral out of control. But why is this happening? Do they just not like people? Is Microsoft full of misanthropes? Do they have a weird fetish for robots and AI and... oh.
This is a load of barnacles.
I heard that!
All of this for an $80 billion investment into AI development and AI infrastructure. And that's the irony. Microsoft states that AI is there to help game development, yet it's gutting and destroying the most essential part of development, the developers. And you think the executives will take a pay cut, but no, they wouldn't. Their wallets are going through an anorexic phase, so they need a few extra dollars to make them happy. Behavioral economics tells us that the happiness derived from money and positive outcomes is, however, a limited factor. It leads to diminishing returns. In the case of Microsoft, however, a studio can make a fortune, yet still receive the short end of the stick. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe.